Looks like we got everybody. So seeing as how the time is,
This meeting is being recorded.
the chair will call to order the Thursday, January 7th, 2021 meeting of the Norton Select Board. Let the record show that all 5 members are present, as well as Town Manager Michael Units. Welcome everybody and Happy New Year. It's our first meeting of the year, so hopefully we have a good start. Speaking of good starts, I got to find our agenda here. Oh, we have an appointments. So an appointment of Christopher Fisher as a provisional full-time firefighter paramedic to the Norton Fire Department. As the Chief Simmons is on, if you'd like to chat with us a bit about Mr. Fisher.
Yeah, sure, I'd be happy to. Good evening, everyone. So Chris is from Taunton. He's currently working for Brewster Ambulance in Taunton. He's also been a call firefighter in EMT in Berkeley for about a year or so. He's also been doing his field internship. He's working towards his paramedic. He's been doing his field internship here in Norton. He's been doing an excellent job. He's proven to be a motivated, hard-working individual that fits in well with the team here. So we're excited to have him aboard.
That's great. Any questions for Chief Simmons or Mr. Fisher?
I didn't see a letter to us. Is there an official letter yet or no? Mike, you know if the letter was drafted to us?
It was, yes.
Yeah.
It's one in the packet.
I can read it.
My packet only had two pages.
That sounds more like an agenda.
I'll read it.
You want me to read that?
By the way, Renee, I'm a little snippy, so you keep going at me. A little rough.
Just trying to get you to smile.
Notice of appointment of provisional full-time firefighter paramedic. Hereby notify the Select Board that in accordance with the provisions of Article 4, Section 2B of the Norton Charter, acting in my capacity as the appointing authority, I have appointed the following individual as a provisional full-time firefighter paramedic in the Norton Fire Department: Christopher Fisher. The appointment was made on January 5, 2021, will be effective January 20, 2021, unless the Select Board votes to accept or reject the appointment prior to said date. However, I specifically request that the Board's acceptance of this appointment be effective January 17, 2021.
So moved.
Seconded.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Seeing no further discussion, we'll go to the roll. Meg?
Yes.
Michael?
Aye.
Brad?
Yes.
Renee?
Yes.
And I too vote yes. Congratulations, Mr. Fisher, and welcome to Norton Fire Department. Thank you very much for your service.
Thank you very
Chief.
much. I really appreciate it.
Chief Simmons, has he been told why fire trucks are red yet or no?
No, we saved that till the first day.
Okay, good. Congratulations, Chris.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Congratulations.
I'm excited to
Congratulations,
start.
Chris.
Thank you.
While we have Chief Simmons on, is there anything else for the fire department tonight, Mike?
There is. If you go to new business, I'd like the chief to talk to you about the new mobile integrated health program that they've been running.
Thanks, Mike. Yeah, so the Mobile Integrated Health Program, we're actually one of the first departments in the area that began to participate in this program. Essentially, it's where we're doing visits for COVID patients at their home for patients that are either really sick or at high risk to become really sick due to COVID. So Captain Wilson's on. I'm gonna let him talk to you in more detail about it and answer any questions you have. We'll do that together. And while I have him on here, I'd just like to tell you all too that he's played a major role in driving this program to the point where we could actually make it a reality. In addition, he's been doing a ton of stuff for us. Been a huge help with all the COVID related stuff like our testing and vaccines and that sort of thing too. So I'm happy to talk to you about any of that stuff or answer any questions that you have about the mobile integrated health or anything to that nature as well.
Yep, just before we get into that, I just want to note formally, we're just going to take this out of order on the agenda. Thank you, Michael, for putting that in my ear. All right, take it away, Captain Wilson.
Okay, well, thanks for letting me, I'm sure everybody can hear me, yes, hopefully?
Yes.
Good, okay.
Yes.
So this is something that actually, believe it or not, started way back when Bill Clinton was actually in as the president, they wanted the paramedics to do a lot more than what they're doing, and a lot of the things revolved around low-income areas and being able to do vaccinations and things like that. But unfortunately, it got kind of put by the wayside because of other things. And each year they threatened to do it again and, start to get it going. But it's probably been going full for the last maybe year and a half to 2 years. And basically what it started as is patients that go into the hospital that get admitted for congestive heart failure. That was one of the big ones. They were finding that they would basically get discharged and then they'd have to go back to the hospital within 30 days. And one of the things that Medicare does is if that happens, if you go to the hospital for, just say for congestive heart failure, and then you go back within a 30-day time frame, the hospital gets fines for that. They basically won't pay for insurance, and then at the end of the year, they get fines for readmissions, for things like that. So what they wanted to do is start a program where the paramedics would go out and they actually reassess these patients to try to get them to not have to go back to the hospital in conjunction with a medical control physician that would kind of be in charge of the overall program. So that's kind of where it started, and the state, of course, got involved with this, and because of that, they started putting fees on, and all said and done, the fee, it was $70,000 to get a license to do the mobile integrated health. So at Sturkey Hospital, Dr. Brian Patel is our medical director, but Dr. Laurie Thornton is kind of like the EMS liaison. And she's been pushing this, like almost daily. She would call us and say, you guys got to get on with this. We got to do this. And when COVID hit, unfortunately, because of all that, the state decided that they were going to waive the fee for the licensing. So she jumped right on this and put something together with all the different departments in what's called the Bristol North area. So it basically was all departments, kind of southeastern Mass type area. The ones that are involved right now are ourselves, Plainville, and Mansfield. Foxborough was also doing it kind of on their own, but Plainville, Norton, and Mansfield were the ones that kind of in this area doing it. So it started in June, and basically what they did is they focused on the COVID patients, the patients that were coming in. They either got transported by the department or came in off the street and they had COVID symptoms. And what they did is they sent them home. And if you don't know, they can track COVID patients on what day it is and how their symptoms are and whether they're going to actually deteriorate or get better. So she was focusing on that to get us in there on day like 3 to 5, because that's when you're either going to start getting better or start getting worse. And she played a big role in it. So what we're doing now is a patient comes into the ER for COVID symptoms. They do what they have to do to try to stabilize them. They send them home, and then she explains to them that fire department's going to come out, they're going to reassess them, and she gets a hold of whatever the department is in the area, and basically we go and we reassess the patient to try to, track them from whatever day they start the COVID to keep them really, in essence, out of the hospital. And that's really kind of, in essence, what we've been doing. So as anything, there's no funding with it, just like anything, because we can't charge. In the ambulance service, you can only charge for transport. So that's obviously an issue. And she pushed this so much that she got the hospital to pay for some of it, because they are the ones that will benefit in the end, because the patient won't go back. So how it works now is a patient goes in, gets evaluated, they do whatever treatment, they send them home, she gets a hold of us, she sets up what's called an MIH visit, she talks to the department, we go there, we assess the patient, and we do what's called a telemedicine video where she talks to the patient after we assess them and decides, are we going to do another visit tomorrow? Are they getting better? Are they getting worse? And then at that point, there might be some treatments. We might give them oxygen. We might give them a nebulized treatment, sometimes some anti-nausea medication, but she follows their treatment as far as that goes. And basically the hopes are to keep the person out of the hospital and, incur that fee as far as that goes. So far since June, we've done 9 visits. Out of the 9 visits, we've done 11 visits. I'm sorry about that. Basically, some of them have been multiple visits where we go to a person's house multiple times. And out of that, 7 patients improved that need to be readmitted to the hospital. 2 patients required rehospitalization. And unfortunately, 2 patients expired, during this just because, they got to the point where they were so unstable, they had to get transported back to the hospital and they expired. So what's nice about it is we've been combining with the department. So if Norton can't make it to a particular visit, we're able to get Mansfield to come in, Plainville to come in, and we'll go into their community. So it's kind of like a joint venture between the three communities, and it seems to be working out pretty good. So how it works is one or two of the firefighter paramedics will have to go there to basically do the visit in contact with the doctor. And obviously there's a fee for us going out there to pay the firefighter paramedics to go out there to do that, and the hospital tries to offset that fee. So that's kind of in a nutshell, you know, what the program is. We owe a lot to Dr. Thornton. I've done a lot of work, but she's done even more work than that, and she really doesn't have there's really no gain for her in this. She's doing this because she really wants the patients to get better, because she's not getting anything really out of this other than the benefit of being able to follow these patients to try to keep them out of the hospital.
Captain Wilson, Mr. Chair.
Yep.
Captain Wilson, so how does this fit into the normal day of and maybe I missed it, you explained it. How does this fit into the normal day of the firehouse and the paramedics that you have on staff?
Good question. They're very specific on how this can be operated. The number one thing is it can't be an ambulance. We cannot send the ambulance there to do this. It has to be a non-transporting vehicle that has to go there. So what we end up doing is we usually know the day before that there's going to be a visit. So we put it basically a text out to see who's available. We have 9 members of the department who are trained to do this. We put basically the text out, see who's available, and you know, from there basically it's a person that's off duty. Obviously, it's not somebody that's taken away from the staffing that's on duty.
Do you envision this, and if I can do another follow-up, Mr. Chair?
Of course.
Do you envision this also? Obviously, the vaccinations are getting very slow out there. I'm assuming one part of the reason is a certain population age that is leaving their house, that isn't going out there. They just don't want to be exposed for leaving their house. Do you see this maybe down the road as kind of an outreach for those very vulnerable people that they're vaccinating, or is that not? Am I totally missing the scope of this program as a whole?
No, you're actually right on. In fact, Dr. Thornton has already been on this, moving the state to special project waivers and stuff like that so we can go out and do it. And she's pretty much done it. So we're set to go when that happens. And she's basically right on board to do that.
Well, I commend you and Dr. Thornton and the chief for and everyone in the department for hopping on this and getting this program. It sounds like it was always there, but it sounds like you guys have jump-started it.
Hey, Michael, what was your question? I lost sound for a second there.
Renee, my question was, where we know that the rollout of the vaccinations, specifically in the high-risk populations of the elderly, because they're afraid to leave their house, they're afraid of just, so on and so forth, can this be integrated into maybe actually going to them to vaccinate these high-risk populations in the elderly?
Thank you.
Conditions.
And that's where it started initially. That's really where, like I brought you back to when Clinton was president, and that's where it started. It started with vaccinations, so the population that can't get to the hospital and unable to get to like a doctor's office. And that's kind of like the inception of this.
Have we, and this is more of a little bit away from this program, and Mr. Chair, and I'm sorry I keep talking without going through yours, so I apologize.
Michael, we're all trying to take it away.
Mike, the town manager, and Mr. Units, Chief Simmons, and probably if Chris Saunders isn't on, but have we set our own benchmarks of vaccinations within the town? Obviously, we know, we kind of have an idea of what age groups we have. Have we done any of that yet? I know it's been a state initiative, but have there been discussions with you guys in regards to setting the goals of like rollout for vaccination?
Speak across a little bit to that anyway. I don't have a ton of detail as far as the stuff goes. I guess I can start with our first rollout is going to be for our first responders. We're pleased to be vaccinated, set up on the 16th and 20th. We're actually having the vaccine delivered to human beings here. It's going to be delivered Monday at 9 a.m. So we're all prepared. We've worked out the logistics and scheduling and everything for that. So that's obviously our first go at the vaccinations. Donna, myself, Mike, town manager, a lot of us, and Chris Zahner and a bunch of other people have talked about vaccinations, townwide, if and how that's going to happen. I talked to Donna actually this afternoon, and she was on a conference call with the state earlier, and it seems like they're trying to steer, individual town and city vaccinations to kind of a regional format. So that's the last I've heard. I don't have an exact time when that would actually, start, but that's the latest.
If you feel that obviously we've missed the benchmarks, the state has missed the benchmarks of the rollout of vaccination all over the country. If you feel that it should get to a town level, can you bring that to our attention immediately? If we have to collectively, through Mike and put pressure on our legislator and or the state house, I think, and we have a good plan to do this, I think we should be waving the flag to say, we've got a plan, we're ready, we want to do this. I surrender that everyone's got a marching order and the Mass Public Health has a plan and all that. But what I don't want to do is I don't want to get to June and then still saying, yeah, but the towns, we haven't really rolled it out within the towns where we've shown capabilities from the COVID plan from the schools to for you being ahead of, making sure people in the town are tested and so forth. We kind of our cream kind of rises to the top. And I don't want to get caught up in the bureaucracy of the states or the region getting out in their own way for us to try to get vaccinations out to citizens of our town.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We'll definitely keep you informed, and if we need assistance making anything happen, I won't certainly won't hesitate to reach out. You know that.
Yeah.
So
it is frustrating, the lack of information right now. We have regional teams that are set up and trained for a situation like this, and I don't understand why the state isn't using them. Every town is part of a regional team, and the state should be seeing whatever they have to do to get the right kind of refrigerator in those areas and get the vaccines out and start going. But it's just frustrating. Whether they're relying on CVS and Walgreens to do it all, I don't know.
yeah.
Mike, are you seeing that in a regional team is frustrated? You're speaking to the regional team. Is the regional team frustrated with the?
The state hasn't said they're going to use regional teams yet. I haven't heard anything on that.
I can tell you, even for us initially, we've been trying to think several months, ahead, just so that we're getting things as soon as we can possibly get things. And we had a plan all laid out with vaccinations through the hospital, and literally, Mike can speak to it, but literally a couple weeks, maybe 10 days before we were ready to do that, that completely changed. The state told the hospitals that they absolutely cannot give vaccines to first responders. So we had to quickly shift gears and come up with a plan B, which we did. And it didn't really cause a significant delay, thankfully, but that's because of, a whole bunch of us in surrounding communities all pulled together to create a consortium to be able to make this happen. Because in order to do a consortium, get our vaccines even that we're getting, they only ship out if you need 200 vaccines. So I can't call up and say, hey, this is Norton, we need 40 vaccines. I'm like, no, I'm sorry. If you have 200, we'll talk to you. But if you don't have 200, we can't help you. So we've created a consortium with Easton, Mansfield, Foxborough, and a few of the other smaller towns north of Foxborough to be able to do this.
So no, that's great. I remember you telling me that you were working on that, so that's excellent. It's excellent. Captain Wilson, I want to just thank you very much. It sounds like you are taking and relieving your group, and you're taking the leadership role of kind of getting this program to relieve the hospitals in the area for already stretched resource. So we appreciate you and the fire department taking this on as to kind of really revitalize this program.
If I can just say one thing, Mr. Chairman. You talk about the politics and stuff like that. There's a certain license that I've been waiting to get since Halloween. That's when we submitted it. And I think I had 15 voicemails. I had at least 15 emails to try to get it. And finally I was at wit's ends, and I went through the town manager, And lo and behold, he got some people involved, and wouldn't you know it, as soon as he got the people involved, about an hour later, I actually got a call from the director of the state lab and had the license in the hand about a half hour later. So I'm not sure, Mike, you can tell who got involved. I'm not sure who got involved, but whoever did it, you know, we had it within a half hour, and that's sometimes the stuff that you have to do just to get the licenses and stuff like that. And then the last thing is, you know, I know, you know, Chief Simmons keeps giving everybody else the, you know, all the credit here, but, you know, he's here at night, he's here on weekends, you know, on a Sunday, one day I looked in, he's right there doing the testing with me and stuff like that. So, you know, we owe a lot of gratitude to him too, because he's right there with everybody else doing everything, you know, just as much as we are.
On what Mike was talking about with the help, I want to thank Steve Howard. Steve that day called me right back right away. And then he called me 2 more times during the day to make sure everything got taken care of. Like, he doesn't just take your call and then say to one of his staff people, here, do this. I mean, he follows through. And I think he was very helpful in that.
That's good to hear. It's great to hear. Captain Wilson, we don't like to give Chief Simmons or Mike Units too much credit, so just you know, just make sure you go through the chairman so we can filter this appropriately, okay?
Unneeded.
It's my commitment. You have done a good job with this program, and I applaud you. And vaccines are around the corner, so we gotta be patient. And we will turn around. We'll get my vaccine, and I'll get my turn. When vaccines are ready, I'll get my turn in. This is a tool that's going to be needed if we were to get back to our normal lives. So be patient, wash your hands, be safe, and be vigilant.
Well said, Peter. Thank you. Any other questions for our esteemed fire department colleagues?
No question, but guys, thank you so much. You know, this is a lot of effort and certainly at a much needed time. And Chief, like your comments about the doses and the numbers, it's something that many people have been battling lately. And I think it's just par for the course with the limited supply, and we'll probably be dealing with it for the next several months.
Right. We'll keep doing whatever we can to help as many people as we can, though. So.
Well, thank you, guys.
Thank you.
All right, gentlemen, thank you very much for your help, and best of luck out there.
Thank you very much, guys. Thank you, Chief. Thank you, Deputy. Thank you, Captain Wilson.
All right. Thank you all. Let's, where else? Where do we take?
Good announcements.
Yes, back to, oh, no, we got licenses and permits.
Oh, I'm sorry.
All right. So we have 2 license renewals. I can just read those in. If I can find them.
Chairman, if I could just mention on the first one, AJ Stone's Oven Pizzeria, Jen found out that they had changed their name.
Okay.
So we wanted to make sure we had the proper name on their license.
Okay. Chair would entertain a motion to approve the 2021 renewal licenses for the following businesses. Stone Restaurant Group, Inc., DBA AJ's Stone Oven Pizzeria, 288 East Main Street, Common Vic. And that is a revote, as town manager noted. And Swamp Donkeys LLC, 113 Mansfield Avenue, Common Vic. Moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion on those 2? Seeing none, we'll go to the vote. Meg?
Yes.
Michael?
Aye.
Brad?
Yes.
Renee?
Yes.
And I too vote yes. Thank you, Jen, for bringing those up.
Mr. Chairman, point of inquiry to the town manager. Mike, correct me if I'm wrong. So our seasonal, I know the reason I asked the question, Swamp Donkey, the license to renew a common vic is $75. A license, if they don't renew, they have to start the whole process over, and it's $275. Is that correct, or?
I'm going to rely on Jen for that, but it's more. I know that, so it's better for them just to renew it.
If I may, a mobile food truck, the application fee is $200, so that's why it's significantly more, and then the common vic fee is $75, so that's the $275.
Okay, all right, but if they renew it, is
It's
it?
just 75.
Or, I'm sorry?
It's just 75.
Instead of 275.
Right.
Okay. Even though there's some seasonality to that or, okay, yeah, okay. I get it. All right, no, thank you. I appreciate answering my question.
All right. Thank you, Jen. Thank you, Michael. That brings us to announcements. And before we get into anything in the packet, and I apologize for not doing this sooner, just like to extend the condolences of the select board to a few folks that experienced some loss over the recent holiday weeks. That would be Meg Arts. Her father-in-law passed away. Our own Michael Toole lost his father. And Chief Clark, unfortunately, lost his mom as well. So rough few weeks for folks close to us. And just like to extend our condolences to those three. And also make sure that the family of Sergeant Steve DeFoss out from Norton Police, please keep he and the family in your thoughts. He, as many of you know out there, he is very ill with COVID-19, and they could use any extra prayers, support, positive thoughts that they can at this point in time. So all you guys are in my thoughts, my family's thoughts, and I'm sure the thoughts of the community as well. So our condolences for your loss and good luck.
Thank you.
All right, Michael, you want to take away any announcements?
Yeah, we actually do have a few, and start off with the Park and Recs. Sharon Rice has done a great job in programming, and she's got a program called DJ Nate Visits. He does birthdays, anniversaries, graduations, retirements, weddings, any occasions. And what it is a socially distanced for $10 donation, and that donation goes to Norton Parks and Rec, or is made through Norton's. DJ Nate will come to your house and play 5 or more songs of your choice. If you are interested in this, please contact Norton Parks and Rec, Rice Sharon at nortonmaus.com or 508-285-0228. It's a great fundraiser, and it's a great idea to kind of break up the monotony of COVID. I also have some additional announcements from Beth Rossi at the Senior Center. The senior grab and go meals will increase to 4 days per week, Tuesday through Friday, from 11 a.m. to 1. Registration in advance is required, and you can do that right at the Council of Aging at 508-285-0235. Beth also wanted to remind everyone the Norton Human Services is available to help with any town member who is struggling during the time of COVID and also regarding heat. And she's got another, the AARP Senior Tax Program is going to start mid-February. It fills up very quickly, so please call the Senior Center to schedule your appointment as spaces are limited. And last but not least, Estelle Flat wanted to, Reefs Across America, Norton this year was very successful. The program was very successful this year in covering all the Norton's veterans' graves. Thank you to everyone who donated and volunteered their time to make this successful. Please share the veteran office is always there to support veterans and their families. And I should have Estelle's phone number and office number. Mike, do you know Estelle's number off the top of your head by any chance? We will get it before the night's over, but these guys, I just really, Mr. Chairman, I wanted to call out everyone in the town. I don't think people realize how stressful it is to offer the services and support the town services in the time of COVID. Specifically, I just wanted to call out Beth, Sharon, and Estelle. They've done an excellent job. And so many others have, but I just really, this time, just wanted to recognize them, and really trying to keep all these programs and keep things and helping people town.
Very well said.
Hey, Mike, I don't know if this is in the announcements, but Mike, what are some of the other ways that we're trying to get that grab and go information out for folks? You know?
I don't know. I'll check with Beth and see how she's getting all that information out.
Okay. Because if it would help for us to do some sort of a public announcement, like Jack and I did a while ago, just to get in the media, I'm thinking, again, I'm sure the board would be great. I just don't know how many people are actually out traveling to see something posted around town.
No, I think that's a great idea, Renee. I think that's, I'm trying to talk and stall and ask her at the same time as I type here.
I have her phone number if you need it.
No, I have Beth's. I just don't have Estelle's. If you have Estelle's, we can give the veteran agent's number out.
Yep. Estelle's number at the veterans agent, 508-285-0274.
And before the night's over, I'll just update everyone if she gets back to me on how she's promoting the grab and go mails. But back to you, Renee, I think I'll make a little extra effort and I'll find out. And I think it'd be a great, maybe the select board can do a community service or some kind of broadcast that King Jack did on something like that.
Yeah, or even, you know, in the interest of time, even if Norton Media Center could put something up there on one of the, like, not an ad, but on one of the rolling.
Yeah, this circle.
Yes. Yeah.
Mike, has there been any other requests regarding mails or outreach of mails from Evan? Has there been a real, I know that we were doing 180 to 200 mails outside of the children and so forth, that ended on the 24th of December. Have there been, obviously this is an extension program of somewhat of that, has there been a real demand? Have you kind of?
I know I've only received 2 emails, and one was from a woman, and her circumstances really didn't change financially during COVID because she's on a pension. And so I had her meet with Beth. What it turned out was that she was afraid to go food shopping. So she was glad today. I heard from her. Beth set her up on how to order food online and go to the store and have them put it in the trunk of your car. So she was happy that she now can do that. I told her I'll contact Beth to see if she can teach me, but Beth told me I have to get in line.
I was going to say, something, if you're trying to teach her about technology, Mike, I'm pretty sure there might be a few other resources we may start with.
I haven't heard back from the other person, so I'm not sure how that.
I'm glad Beth was able to help her.
All right. Thank you, Michael. Any other announcements? Seeing none, we'll move on. We've already covered new business. I don't see anything under old business. Town manager's report. Anything that's on your mind, Mike?
The only thing I just wanted to see how you wanted to handle next week. We have the joint meeting, and I know I spoke with the superintendent today, and he's asking his board for ideas on to email him ideas on topics that they want. We want to try and keep it to a few topics so we actually can address things rather than just be talking. And so any ideas that you have, some of the things we're thinking of, obviously the field project and building projects, FEMA and CARES Act funding, where we're at and what the future is. And also just any concerns or anything with the FY21 budget, and just a slight little bit about what we see might happen in FY22. And so anything else that, I know I got a long list from the finance committee, but a lot of them were just looking for information that I actually, update on Reading Barton, update on marijuana establishments. I mean, I gave them updates on where you're at on those. So any ideas that you have, Jack, if,
Okay.
just let me know so I can share them with the superintendent and see if we can get a.
Thank you, Mike. Yeah, for personally, those 3 or 4 topics are where I would like to focus. But if anyone else on the board has anything they want to bring up, either tonight or drop a note to Mike and Jen, and they can get that included on there.
And Mr. Chair, is this, the purpose of this meeting is one that just to improve community, these meetings started last year with you, last year, just try to improve communication between the three boards. Is that correct? Is that the premise of these and the purpose of these meetings?
I don't believe that these are new to the past year or so. I think they've happened intermittently for a while. But yeah, the goal is definitely to improve more coordination and communication between school committee and the FinCom and ourselves. So getting everybody in a room such as it is about every 3 months, I think is what we've tried to adhere to. So I don't think there was any driving force for this particular meeting, but again, it's just trying to get in the habit of doing these every quarter.
Mike, did you mention the athletic complex in that list?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. And then can I just confirm that meeting is at 6 o'clock?
That's what I got.
Is that, I got that one at 6, and I got one for February 18th that says, and the subject, it says at 7 p.m., but the meeting invite is for 6 p.m.
Yeah, well, you meet next Thursday and the following Thursday. What's the 18th?
The 18th was a permanent building committee presentation. It said at 7, but then are we meeting before that for some reason?
In February.
Yeah.
That's in February.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I thought I said February 18th. I may have said January.
No, I wasn't. I might not have been listening. That is, well, they scheduled, the building committee scheduled that, so I'll talk to them and if we can just move that to the 7th.
Well, it says in the meeting invite, or it's like the subject of it says at 7 o'clock.
Okay.
But what we got out, but what came through the invitation was 6 p.m. Can we just confirm which?
Yeah, I'll confirm with building committee. I don't know whether they were going to have a meeting before that.
Okay.
Or ours or not.
Awesome, thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mike. Select board report and mail. We have something from Xfinity. Summarize that, Mike.
Yeah, the main thing in here, they're announcing what we have talked about in the past, that you won't be losing the channels, Channel 5. They say that last month we informed you that one or more TV stations from a neighboring market that offer much of the same content as the local station in your market would no longer be available as of December 22nd. Today, we are happy to share that we have been able to extend our right to continue to offer these stations. And also in the first paragraph, they talk about some of the sports stations that haven't had any content because of COVID, and they're now in negotiations with those stations for reimbursement of funds because of that. And they say 100% of it will go to the customers. So we'll see on that.
All right. Thank you, Mike. Anything else from the board?
Mr. Chairman, I just wanted to, it came up before, there were some neighbor concerns regarding Hallmark foods and traffic and light. Yesterday, myself, the representatives from Home Market Food, neighbors, and town manager Michael Units had a group meeting. And it was a very productive meeting, and they really, I wanted to commend the, Dan, what's Dan's last name, Mike, do you recall? From Home Market Foods. He was,
Dan Anderson.
thank you, Dan Anderson, I appreciate it. He was very receptive, and it was, obviously when neighbors complain, it's always one of those things, you never know how people are gonna react to it. He was very gracious, very receptive to hearing what they were saying and trying to figure out how Home Foods could bring solutions to that. And I just wanted to kind of call that out. And from that, we're also going to be talking with ways to see. One of the things that came out of there is a discussion with the public safety officer and chief to talk about how we might be able to limit certain streets from trucks on Waze. Waze is becoming more and more used, and I think it's sending inappropriate sized trucks down very small roads. So we're going to try to do that, and we're going to send some emails. But hopefully some of the suggestions that come out will resolve some of their concerns regarding the trucks in residential areas. So I just wanted to call them and to just let everyone know that we had that meeting, and it was very well received, and there were a lot of action items that came out of it, and it's still progressing. But hopefully in the next couple of months, we'll have some solutions that I can share with everyone.
That's great. If I can piggyback on that, Michael, I happened to drive down there the other day as well. And we had asked the highway department to put up 2 autistic child signs in the area of that side street. There's a family there with a young child that they want to make sure if there are trucks flying down there that they're aware that they need to be slow. I did not see them. We were hoping to get them on either side of that street since there's pretty heavy traffic. You can just follow up with Keith on that. I can take up the email for the address as well. If you need.
Yeah, that'd be helpful.
Yeah, I know exactly. They were actually there. The parents, individual child were there yesterday. So.
Anything else, folks?
I have a couple things, Jack. Just to mention, Mike and I had a meeting today with the town council, and we'll come back with more detailed information, but just so you're aware, initially, we received an HCA for a delivery license. Actually, it's not an HCA, it's more of a proposal for the HCA. It's something that was recently approved through the Cannabis Control Commission. I want to say November 30th. Mike, correct me if I'm wrong on that, but they approved the regulation at the end of November. So it's something new to us. We had a conversation with her. There are some questions that we have for the applicant specifically based on what was submitted. So what I asked the applicant to be prepared to do is meet with the EDC first, and we'll try to flesh that out, and then we'll bring it to the board. The other thing too is just so you're aware, we also had a conversation with Alex of Exit 10 LLC. They're running into a couple of hurdles, and they've made some changes in their organization. So we expect to have an amended HCA back in front of us, maybe at our next meeting. I'll reach out to him just to talk based on our conversation to town council, but wanted to give the board a heads up on that.
All right. Thank you, Renee. Anything else?
Mr. Chairman? Can I say a couple of quick questions? Is there concern on Exit 10? Was any of his concerns about him following through on a HCA, or just some organizational challenges that they had?
They made an organizational change, and they're having some difficulty with the location, but they have a backup plan. So Mike and I already had a meeting with them once, provided some suggestions. So we just need to touch base with them again. But we have some guidance back from town council on the HCA, and essentially just it'll be amendments to the HCA that we'll just have to discuss and approve.
Okay, great. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Renee. Seeing no further mail, we'll move on to warrants and minutes. I have recently approved payroll warrant PR 21-14 for the week ended December 26, 2020. Warrant dated December 31, 2020, in the amount of $1,454,268.82. Invoice warrant AP 21-26 dated December 24, 2020 in the amount of $667,580.68. Invoice warrant AP 21-27 dated December 31st, 2020 in the amount of $986,599.57. Invoice warrant AP 21-28 dated January 7, 2021 in the amount of $309,104.66. We also have two sets of minutes to approve. Chair would entertain a motion to approve minutes for December 10th, 2020 and December 17th, 2020.
So moved.
Motion and a second. Seeing no discussion. Meg?
Yes.
Michael?
Aye.
Brad?
Yes.
Renee?
I'm going to abstain, Jack. I haven't looked at them.
Okay. And I vote yes. So that will be 4-0 with one abstention. As discussed previously, we have next meeting's agenda is January 14th, 2021, a joint meeting with the school committee, and I think FinCom is going to post for that as well. Is there any other business to come before the board before we enter executive session? Seeing none, we'll jump over to my other window here. And fiddlesticks. I declare under general laws, chapter 30A, section 21A3, and section 21A6, that the purpose of the executive session will be to discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining and to consider the purchase of real property, because the discussion of the strategy in open session could compromise the purpose of the executive session, and with the board to return to open session at the, are we returning to session, Mike?
I don't think you have to, no.
Yeah, so if I rewind that, with the board to not return to open session at the conclusion of the executive session.
I move that the board go into executive session under general law, chapter 30A, section 21A3 and 21A6 for the purposes and reasons declared by the chair, and with the board not to return to open session thereafter.
Second.
All right, motion and a second. We'll roll call. Meg?
Yes.
Michael?
Aye.
Brad?
Yes.
And I too vote yes.
So do I, Jack.
Oh, sorry, Renee.
Okay.
Renee, yes, I'm a yes. I am also something else that ends in S.